All right. Hey, everyone. This is Dan King from Fist Bump Media, and I'm excited to welcome you today to our session, our webinar for especially for writers today, the practical website trends of 10 best-selling authors. I think I've been a writer for a long time. I've been blogging for about 12 years, written a couple books, self-published, traditionally published. In fact, see my books back here too. Not necessarily a best-selling author. I have hit the top of some lists in some pretty small niches. Big accomplishments, but nowhere near the level that we're going to see today with some of the writers that we're going to be looking at. To get to today's list, I wanted to really kind of dive into what some of the best writers out there are doing, people who are just selling books like crazy, and figure out what we can do based on things that I'm seeing and what they're doing that we can learn to help improve our online presence as writers and stuff too. We work with a lot of writers over the years. We've helped develop several websites, dozens and dozens and dozens of websites, and we do a lot of hosting, a lot of other consulting and stuff like that too, with writers and stuff too. So we've seen a lot of the trends, what a lot of other writers want to do, and aspiring writers and stuff want to do. But this glimpse into what some of the best-selling authors today are doing, I think, can really help us as we try to plan our own writing platforms and our blogs, and how do we develop our presence online. As I've studied some of these top 10 best-selling authors right now, there's some pretty cool things going on, and there are some things too that might require a little bit more of a design effort if you want to try to implement some things. But really, a lot of the biggest trends that I'm seeing are simple things that most of us can do right now today to maybe tweak and kind of change our strategy and build our presence with our websites and stuff online. So with that, I want to dive in and take a look at these 10 best-selling authors. Just so you know, the list that I pulled for the authors that we're going to take a look at, I just went to Amazon, and they have a tool they call Author Rank, and I looked at the top 10 authors and stuff too. Just a little disclaimer: there are a few things that I pulled out. It's not necessarily the exact top 10, and the top 10 that I pulled was from about a week ago when I was trying to finalize the list so that I can make sure I had time to do the research into the sites and evaluate them the way I wanted to. So it may not even match exactly what's top 10 today, but there are a couple like Michelle Obama has got a big a very high author rank right now on Amazon. You look at her presence, and it's really more of a cause than it is developing in like an author presence and stuff. So I didn't evaluate that one. Happy to give some thoughts on it if somebody wants me to kind of share that too. But I really want to look at people who are just really writers and trying to develop an author platform. I also took out a couple too that were really primarily like just children's books that are ranked in the top 10 as well too. So really the Amazon author rank, when I pulled the list, the top 10 that I'm looking at are really still in the top 12 to 15 or so, I think, with maybe a couple of exceptions and stuff, because I think that's really where most of the writers that I know that are working on the stuff today are at. They're just either writing fiction or nonfiction, but really maybe primarily for an adult audience and stuff too. So those are the ones that I really kind of looked at, and we'll kind of go from there. So without further ado, let's jump in, because I've got 10 different websites that I want to look at, and I have some ideas to share on each one of them. So this is not a lot of time, in an hour. Let's talk about 10 different websites and really break them down. So with that, I'm going to screen share, and I'm going to jump over, and we'll take a look at the number one on the list. So here we go. And some people may be familiar with this one, J.K. Rowling. So she's written some books, that you may be familiar with, right? I think everybody kind of knows who she is, and she's even written under another pen name as well too. And I believe if I remember the story right and stuff, she did it to really see if the writing was, if it was her and her name that got so big that everybody was loving her books, or if she could write and people not know that it was her originally, at least, and stuff, right? To see how that worked out. But anyway, J.K. Rowling, this is her website, jkrowling.com. This is the homepage. Really, one thing that I want to point out about this homepage is that it is it's really cool, kind of very original, stylish kind of design and layout stuff. One of the things you'll notice about this as we kind of scroll down is that the things that are featured here, right? This news, this answers, right? And I scroll down and there's more news, another news, right? Another news, right? But those are blog posts essentially, right? So her homepage design is essentially a blog feed, okay? But the way it is styled right now, I think is really pretty slick, right? So it's really focusing just on the blog post titles that are on the page, but the background is a background, scrolls down with the end stuff too, but really kind of features and highlights who she is. I love this look at the desk and in the notebook and the Polaroid pictures, and you see some books laying on the desk too, and some trinkets and all kinds of stuff too. The background itself, just scrolling down the page, is kind of a glimpse into who she is, right? So just the style of it kind of builds that kind of personal connection with who J.K. Rowling is, right? So as you look at it, it's just a basic blog feed, right? And the blog posts, they can be staggered across and stuff too. And that's actually something that's fairly actually simple to do from a blog design perspective and everything. You kind of play around with that spacing and stuff. But definitely very interesting to kind of see how that's laid out on that background, really kind of giving you a flavor and a feel for connecting with who she is, right? She is a writer, and it's very clear to see that. And it's even clear to see and kind of pick up on some of the style of writing and stuff like that that she does, just based on scrolling down and looking at this desk, right? So very clear author branding on this. It really, I think, connects you to the life and the personality of the author. And it's really the only content there is the blog feed, right? So there's not a lot of other fluff or anything like that too. So you can see that focus being the blog content, but really building that brand and connecting with the personality of who this person is. Okay. One of the other things I really like about this website too, and want to point out, is very, very simple header up top, right? And you'll notice, the navigation goes from home to about, to writing, to news, which is blog feed type stuff, and answers, which is also blog feed type stuff. And really kind of taking a look at that, it looks like, the blog is broken up into two categories, right? The news and the answers. So that's one thing too. I think a lot of people tend to do is just put the blog up there when they can use blog categories, right, to break down and say, hey, we have posts about this, and point to a blog feed of just that category. And then we have a blog category about this, and point that list to a blog feed of just the ones in that category, right? But one thing I'll point out though too is, as we look at this, you have some of that important navigation up top, right? Obviously what she feels is the most important navigation for her: the home page, the about page, the writing, which points to her books, the book list, and the news and the answers blogs, right? But if we scroll down to the very bottom of the page in the footer, you also see another, like the header menu here, a footer menu, but it's different, right? And one thing I think is really interesting, this inquiries, right? Basically, that's pointing to like a contact page, for ways to contact her or her agent, whatever, and things like links and stuff like that. Those are not things that, you don't see a contact link up in the header menu, right? She left that out and pulled that down into the footer, right? Because people are going to want to try to figure out how to get in touch with her. They'll find that, they'll get in touch with that too. And I think a lot of people, you think of a lot of websites that you go to, if you're looking for certain types of information, you're going to go to the footer of the website, especially at business websites and stuff, right? Or you think about it, you go to Amazon, for example. You want to find some stuff about connecting with the company and contact page and stuff like that. You can find that stuff in the footer. What you see in the header is the products, right? And it's a similar kind of concept here too. So I love the different header and footer menus. I see that on a few of these websites and stuff too, but really kind of pointed out here because I think this is a great example for this. One of the other things I want to look at here on JK's website is her about page, which I think is brilliant, right? About pages are a tricky thing for a lot of people, and I know people tend to struggle with this, but one thing I think is really cool about her blog page is that it is really essentially a timeline, right? So she even starts with, hey, I was born, going way back to the very beginning, when I was young, I lived for books, loved them. But as you scroll down, I'm not going to look at everything here, but you'll even notice that there are dates and stuff in here too. Hey, my first novel was published in this time. At this time, it was adapted into a film, and on and on and on and on. So basically, she built a timeline. And I think as you read through that, you can't help but to kind of connect and you're developing and relating to a history of the person. It's like you're getting to really know who she is based on events that have happened throughout her life. And all of the events here are really focused on her as a writer, because that's the identity that she wants you to connect with, right? So then scrolling down from there too, on the about page is one thing that I think is kind of important sometimes, and not everybody really has a lot of these and stuff too, but for her, this is kind of a big deal. Honors and awards is really a section there for credentials, right? To kind of point to, kind of validation and social proof that is like, hey, look, yes, I'm a good writer, right? And I think sometimes, a lot of others of us as writers and stuff too, it may not be a list of awards necessarily too, but, finding credentials and stuff like that too, to help kind of build some validation and social proof and stuff like that too, that we are who we say we are, and showing that proof there is a good deal. But also too, I love this a section here pointing to charities, right? So you see some charitable work and organizations and stuff that she's involved with and wants to connect to, and everything else as well too. And I think that builds a kind of a compassion connection with who she is too. It's not that just she's a great writer and she sells a lot of books, but she's somebody who cares, right? And I think it's very easy to connect with somebody who cares about the communities that they live in, that they're involved with. So some pretty cool stuff too, because I think that's something as well too, that as a writer, if you have causes that are important to you and stuff, build that stuff onto your about page. It's pretty good idea to show people that you're a caring, compassionate kind of person, and maybe those are issues and causes not only that they may get interested in, but maybe they also connect to because they care about the same causes. So pretty cool. Some cool stuff there on J.K. Rowling's website. All right, moving on. The next one I want to take a look at is Nora Roberts. I'm going to refresh this real quick because I want you to see, as soon as the page loads up, the first thing that loads is at the top of the home page. As it loads here. The top of the homepage, boom, there's Nora, #1 New York Times best-selling author, right? So right away you get face of the author, instant credibility with who she is, and then it starts scrolling into some of the featured books, right? So at the very top, what you get right away is you get who this person is. Uh, she's solid because she's already proven as a New York Times best-selling author. And there it is again. And then here's some of the books. Here's some coming up. Here's some existing books already out there as a bestseller. I love the release schedule, kind of connecting people with the dates. And then this is a big thing too, this opportunity to connect and travel with Nora. So there's even a really cool kind of fan connection. If you love Nora as an author, gosh, can you imagine, traveling with Nora to France, or whatever, right? So some cool opportunities to make sure you're connecting with the people. But really, obviously, she put the stuff that is most important, with her brand, her profile here too, is who she is as an author, a credible author. And then connecting to the books themselves, right? So great slider at the top of the homepage there. For me, it does move a little bit fast, hard to kind of catch that stuff. And sometimes a slider, if you do set it up so I can kind of pause when you mouse over it, that's not set here and everything. But I think one change I might make is to allow something like that, so that some of those slides with a little bit more text, there's a way to kind of stop that and make sure people can feed and read that. As I scroll down to, again, the featured titles. So on the homepage, it's not all the books, and maybe not even her most recent books, right? But some of the featured titles that she wants to point out. You can put any you want there. If you have books and stuff, or content, things like that you want to feature, put that stuff right on the homepage. And this is a still shot here, right, too. Next thing below that slider, is pointing people to those books. And this piece right now here seems to be a little bit broken too, but I love this section though, this news section on the homepage. And one of the things she's doing is she's using social media, right, in her Facebook feed is a way to kind of pull in some content. And I think she uses social media pretty smart here. Really, if you look at this, I'm kind of scroll back up to the top of the page. In the menu up top, there's the RSS feed, right, so that you can get updates from the site and stuff. But she has Facebook and Pinterest up here. Talk about Pinterest real quick, and I'm not going to necessarily click on it too, but if you're looking at her website at noraroberts.com, it doesn't point to her profile on Pinterest, so it doesn't recognize that she is very active on Pinterest, but it points to essentially exploring Nora Roberts related content on Pinterest. So if you search Nora Roberts on Pinterest and you got a list of her books and things like that other people are sharing on Pinterest, right? It's pointing to that. So it's pretty interesting recognizing that a lot of her fans, a lot of her people are going to be on Pinterest, but she's not necessarily developing a Pinterest presence herself. She's leveraging what other people are using on social media and creating an opportunity for people to connect with that. So that's why I say I think pretty smart use of social media. It's not necessarily something that may work for all of us, that idea, but pretty cool how she's leveraging stuff that's out there and being done, whether she has to manage that or not. So really, from a social media perspective, she focuses on the one channel on Facebook. And that main focus on Facebook, I will click on this really quick just so you can see it. The main focus on Facebook, as you see, she's got roughly about 650,000 followers on Facebook. And she shares a lot of stuff, book updates, memes, cool graphics, videos, things like that too. Really, I think there's a lot of kind of personal connection here, from what she's doing and what she's up to and stuff. So great way to really kind of connect with the author here on Facebook. But like I said too, then essentially we see this with a couple of people, right? She's using that feed essentially, and like I said, right now on her website it seems to be broken, but she's using that feed to kind of pull in to try to connect people with that content. And again, with her on the footer of her website too, the one big thing from social media, keep up with Nora on Facebook, become a fan, right? Is one of the things that she really tries to drive people to. So I think really smart use of social media on her website and how she does that. All right, very cool. All right, the next one I want to take a look at is Brian Rouille. I hope I said his name right, Rouille. This is, and Brian he's been, if you're not familiar with him, he's been a staff reporter, with Bloomberg News and Bloomberg Business Week magazine. He's the former Chicago bureau chief of the Wall Street Journal, and shared in a Pulitzer Prize given to the Wall Street Journal in 2002 for coverage of the September 11th terrorist attacks and stuff too. So here's a guy, primarily has been like a business writer, part of a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist and stuff too, for 9/11 attacks and stuff too. So he's got some of that background, that kind of journalist background. So one of the things I think we see on his website too is he doesn't seem to be really interested in trying to feature, I'm going to write some blog posts and things like that, right? He's written some books, and one of the things I kind of like about this site too is it's kind of dark, right? But the style of the website really matches the style of the books. And I think that's important from a brand consistency perspective, right? I think, you pick up one of his books in a store and you visit his website, I think you kind of get the same feel, right? And so there's no disconnect whatsoever really kind of between the website and the books. Here on the top of the page, on the home page, you see the biggest feature, right? This is what he wants to point people to. You come to his website and Bleak Harbor, that's what it's about. It's not even about him, not about anything else. It's about Bleak Harbor. So you see the cover of the book, really cool, very stunning, cover photo and stuff like that, right? And I like too that he's used that kind of 3D image of the book, instead of like here's a flat front cover image. You see that on a lot of websites and stuff too, but making it look like an actual book is, I think, really great because it connects the fact this is a book website. You're looking at a book. There's no question. Cool style, everything, style-wise, the website, the book, kind of consistency there too. But the other piece of this too is the social proof, right? So there's some links there, obviously, and stuff too, to get to Amazon, Barnes and Noble, IndieBound, where you can find it and stuff too. But you see the book cover now available for pre-order, and the social proof, right? The social proof. This is one thing I talk a lot about with a lot of people and stuff too. The value and the power of testimonials and endorsements and things like that, right? Putting that social proof on there, it's like walking into Starbucks and there's money already in the tip jar. There's been a lot of studies about this to show that if there's money already in the tip jar, it's already pretty full, you are actually more likely to add a tip to that tip jar. If you walk in and there's an empty tip jar, you're actually less likely to put a tip in the tip jar. So leveraging social proof here, right? You come to the website, bam, book, and then here's what people have to say about it. Is really a brilliant use of using the social proof. This homepage too, is very static, but really what you see is you see a book and you see a lot of great things that people are saying about it. You see New York Times best-selling authors are saying great things about this book. So you can't help but to get the feeling. In this case, this is what he's trying to drive. He wants to drive pre-order sales for the new book. Boom, people love it. There's the links. Go. Right, so not super fancy in the design, but definitely very effective in the strategy and what he's trying to do and how he's trying to drive people and stuff too. But overall too, even as you look down into, it's a pretty simple, kind of no distraction kind of design that you don't see a lot of big sidebars or anything, but it's hey, here's more of the series after the one book he's got out now, right, or coming out. Here's more about the series, a little bit about the author, who he is. Hey, get on my email list if you want some updates, a few social media links and stuff like that at the bottom. Pretty simple, right? Very basic, simple information. This is, and really a lot of the rest of the website kind of follows the same kind of style and consistency and stuff, right? It's a little bit more text heavy than I like, but really the use of images, I think, is really interesting. I mean, the focus is really primarily just, it's on the books, right? You can go to the books page, for example, and that's what you see. You see very similar to this home page up top. You're going to see, book cover, quick summary, testimonial, book cover, testimonial, book summary, testimonials, right? And the links to buy them, obviously. So again, I mean, it's kind of a dark website, but those book covers, again, not the flat styles, but they're books. They kind of pop, right? It's consistent with the look and feel. The text heavy kind of its description, but it's very focused. Here's what it's about. Here's what people have to say about it. Go buy it, right? So the site is very driven towards driving people to go buy the books. And my bet is this pretty effective in getting that done. All right, moving right along. The next one, another pretty common, pretty popular author, James Patterson. His writing career has really been characterized by kind of a single mission, right? To prove to everyone, from children to adults, that there's no such thing as a person who doesn't like to read. Only people who haven't found the right book. So he's given over 1 million books to school kids. $40 million to support education. And all kinds of college scholarships for teachers and stuff like that too. So he's a writer. He's written, a whole bunch of books, right? Adult fiction books. He's written children's books. I think kind of young reader, teens, teen, age books and stuff, so he's really got quite a level and range of the books that he's written. But if you look at this website, really, he's written a few books, and landing on this website is almost like walking into a library, right? Even you look at the menus and stuff, right? It's a menu about the books, it's all kinds of, the middle school series, this style, that style, whatever. Book shots, coming releases, again, about the books and stuff, right? The scrolls, all about the books, with this kind of side next to the scrolling feature slider there, with links to more books. Hey, this one's available now. So it's all about the books. Free book alert, right? I'm going to talk about this in a second too, but get the best prices on James books, right? Scroll down, and even the books that have turned into movies, coming releases, release dates for upcoming books, right? This thing it's like walking into a library. It's like, oh, here's all of the stuff that he's done, and it's a big library of content, right? One of the things I want to point out here too about his site is his focus on community a little bit, and how he does this, right? This community section in his menu points to where you connect with him on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, videos. His newsletter sign up is what he considers part of the community, right? Because it's a way to be able to kind of connect and get the updates and things like that, right? He's got a focus on community in email newsletter and stuff too. You even see that in the top bar up top. A lot of those same links, but also driven in the menus and stuff for the website. Think about that email newsletter. I mentioned this section here too. This deals, right? And I love this too. This deals for getting an incentive for newsletter sign up, right? So sign up for the newsletter now, because you're going to get some exclusive deals I'm going to give you some coupons and stuff. And I think what's really cool about this too is this is a way that, you know, if you're a writer and if you get in a routine of, you know, publishing new books on a regular basis, and even promoting old books that you may have already written even a while ago and stuff, you know, you have a way, depending on how you have it published and stuff, if you self-publish it, you may have a little bit more control over this kind of thing too, and creating things like coupon codes and stuff, you know. But if you have different ways of selling it, you can use that as a way to really drive sales to the channels that you want, because then, you know, you're giving them that coupon code, that discount code stuff too, because you may have a channel where you can sell the books that is actually going to be more profitable to you, even if you use a coupon code, you know. So regardless of how you do that, how you set it up to, I think that's a brilliant way to encourage people to get on your email list. You know, as a writer, a big deal is getting the emails, right? Getting the emails from the readers. And we always look at ways that you can create lead magnets and stuff too. But I love this because he's writing books on a regular basis. He's got a ton out there, got a ton coming up. You know, offer deals, offer discounts and stuff like that too, as a way to, hey, get on the email list. I'm going to give you special discounts, you know, so people can save money and get on that list, right? So that's a pretty cool thing too. One of the other things I like about this too, and we mentioned this a little bit on some of the others as well, but with James Patterson, right? You know, this section down here too, this whole, you know, hey, like James on Facebook, boom, get on his page. You know, he's got almost 3.7 million likes on his page right now, right? You know, so it's a lot, but this is one of the things I was talking about. I think it was back on Nora's website, right? How she was using Facebook as well too. This is pretty cool, right? So it doesn't seem like he really blogs a whole lot. A lot of his writing, his blogging is just pouring into the books, right? That's when he sits down to write. That's what he's doing. But he's using the Facebook as a way, almost like a blog, right? You know, so he's sharing videos and it's like, oh my gosh, look at the cute dogs and the cute puppies and stuff, right? Oh, hey, here's an old picture. You know, at the time of this writing, you know, President George H.W. Bush just passed away too. So, you know, a little tribute to, you know, sharing a personal photo of him. It looks like he's got, you know, on a mantle or a desk or something like that somewhere too of him and the president, right? You know, so you can see that he's really using this to share updates on a regular basis, but he's leveraging those updates to use on his website. So he's not producing new content for the website on a regular basis, but he kind of is by producing those connection points, you know, on the blog. But all kinds of photos, what's going on in his life, what's happening with new books. You know, love this too. He's even sharing stories. Just, you know, hey, I'm excited about the dog dryer. He's going on sale today. He's looking for dog stories and shares a news story about a dog, you know, in a community somewhere and stuff. So it's a pretty cool way of just kind of continuing to connect and have fun, and using the Facebook as a way to provide content for your website, right? So depending on what your strategy is and how you're leveraging it, think about how you might be using social media as a way to kind of feed your website if you need to. All right, so that's James Patterson. Let's look at the next one, and I know this one's probably a fan favorite here, and it's the blog of Joanna Gaines, right? She's been publishing some books. She's the Magnolia Homes and Shop and etc. Co-owner, host of HGTV's Fixer Upper with her husband Chip. Really super popular show. Gosh, what they got a line of products and stuff in Target now and everything, you know. So they've got a lot going on. I almost didn't do this one, but there was really some great points. I almost didn't do this one because really the website, you know, it's the Magnolia website, right? You know, which is really a lot more about the shop and everything too. But the blog is actually, there's really cool things about the blog here too. One of the things, this pop up here too, is that that I'll point out to as I land here, point out, it's a delayed pop-up, right? So it's the kind of thing too. You've got to be on the page for a little while, which I think is really smart pop-up strategy. I know some people are hesitant to use pop-ups, but they're offering that their lead magnet is 15% off your next purchase, right? So a discount code, like I was talking about the James Patterson stuff, give a discount, from the store to enter your email address to get it. But it is a delayed pop-up, so you get on the site, you can spend some time there for a little bit at first, and then the pop-up comes a little bit later on when you've been on the page long enough to really show that you're engaged. So it's not you land on the website and then instantly it pops up, which would not necessarily be a great thing. So definitely a smart strategy with the pop-up, not loading it up right away. So anyway, when you try to get to Joanna Gaines and stuff, right? Even you Google search and stuff, right? You get her blog, right? This is the thing that comes up. A blog by Joanna Gaines, and one of the first things, and I'm not really surprised by this because she's a designer, right? So and she does a lot of work with homes and everything too as well too. But I'm not surprised that the design of this site is really, I think, as impressive as it is, right? It's a very clean, and the blog, just basic blog feed design. One of the things I think we underestimate sometimes in web design, people want to do a lot of different things. It's cool to take the edge to edge of the screen kind of feel and everything, and put a lot of stuff out there too. But the power of white space is really, it's undeniable, okay? And I think one of the things that does, even psychologically for visitors, is that the brain is hardwired to try to conserve calories, right? And having to think too hard actually burns calories. So white space actually creates less stuff that visually you have to try to process. So it actually helps eliminate. So it's a lot psychologically, and studies been done on this too. Psychologically, it's a lot easier on the brain, putting you in a little bit more of a relaxed state. So the white space here is really fantastic. So I love the clean design, the basic blog feed. You don't see a lot of clutter. And I go back and forth on this sometimes too, but she's got a sidebar here, right? As you scroll down, and a lot of people use sidebars. Some people have been getting away from them and stuff too, but her use of the sidebar is really great. First for her here, basic blog layout too, the picture of her there reminds you of who this is. You've seen her on TV, right? Some of the social media links, so connect with her on social media, join the email list, visit the Magnolia, the silos in Texas, shop the market, latest episodes. What you see here in her sidebar is you see her focusing on driving people to the things that help her reach her goals, right? Get on the email list, visit the store, visit the shop, the silos, right? Shop our store online, latest episodes from the TV show and stuff, right? Those are things really all driven towards her, and and that helps us eliminate some of the clutter, right? Some of the social proof we talked about. You don't see big, hey, I have this this qualification, this certification, or whatever. Hey, I'm not pointing to a lot of other people's websites. They're really she's very intentional about making sure that if it's on that page, it's something that's helping her reach her goals and drive people to the things that she wants to drive people to help benefit, building her presence and making her site profitable and stuff too, right? So pretty cool. Also too, the menu here, right? Like I said, it's part of the whole Magnolia website and everything too, but you get the big menus up top, at the very top, pointing to shop and breaking down different types of products. Inside Magnolia, this is where you find, Joanna's blog, and other stuff, with the show and cookbook and all kinds of stuff, right? But really for the blog site, the menu is here, right? Right underneath the title. And I love what she did is that, she got the design, the lifestyle, DIY, recipes, updates. And really what those are, if you're working in WordPress, those are blog categories, right? So her menu for the site here is her blog categories, okay? And I'll tell you what that does, right? That does a couple of things. It's really helps focus using those categories for easy navigation for the website. So if you come to the website and you're looking for DIY stuff, you know where to go, and you're going to get just the DIY blog post in that feed when you click on that button. If you're looking for recipes, boom, go to recipes. You're getting that, and you're getting just the recipes and stuff too. So she's, again, not putting blog in the header there or the about or any of that stuff. She's focusing on the categories for the types of content that people will want to get, right? The other good thing that does for her too is when search engines, look at your website too to try to figure out what you're about, right? These menus like this, that's one of the things that they look at, and they try to kind of distinguish and categorize what your website is about. So it's really smart from an SEO perspective too, making sure it's very clear that this is about design, lifestyle, DIY projects, recipes, updates, obviously, because she's going to share updates and stuff too. That's not so much for SEO, but it's very clear what this website is about, right? So cool stuff, right? Now I also want to look at. I'm just going to go ahead and go to one of these blog posts here. And again, you get to the blog, same menu, same sidebar and stuff too. But as you scroll down, you look at this blog post. This is kind of I think probably the DIY category and stuff, right? But it looks like a kind of a craft thing for a little Christmas project. Really great use of images throughout the blog post and stuff. Images, that'll vary depending on what your blog post is, what it's about. But as you move down, really great smart use of images. And see, there's that delayed pop-up. I've been on the page for a little bit, scroll down to a certain point, so now I get that pop-up. The delayed pop-up for email subscription too, but again, notice the strong use of images, lots of white space, so you're not getting confused and cluttered with stuff too. You get to the bottom of the blog post, and then again, I love seeing this on the bottom of a blog post too. Join our mailing list to stay inspired. Very simple kind of call to action of a get on my email list. Okay, you've reached the end of this. You must have liked it. Get on my email list. Okay, so she's made it very simple for email subscription, both through the pop-up and the end of post opt-in opportunities. Okay. All right. The next one I'll talk about is Amber Cowie. Okay, and I mentioned too that when I pulled the list, I pulled this list based on the Amazon author rank at the time when I pulled this up about a week ago. And from what I can tell, Amber here is, I believe this Rapid Falls, I believe is her first book, I think that's coming out. So she's a pretty relatively new author. And I think it might even, at this point, may even still be pre-release. So whatever she did, she may not be what you think of as the best-selling author, like some of the others, James Patterson, anything like that, that are on this list too. But whatever she did, she earned herself into the top 10 on Amazon's author rank, right? So pre-sales must be going pretty good, something like that, or whatever too. But if she were able to get up in the top 10 on Amazon's author rank, she's doing something right? So I want to take a look at her website because I do like some things that she's doing here. Again, big thing, very simple design. I love that, top of the page, right now it's about, let's get that book, let's, get some pre-orders going and stuff. We've talked about this before too, but you land on the page, boom, there's the book cover design. I love the 3D image for it. Again, because that speaks that this is the book. So you're on an author's website and you're looking at the author's book right there. And then the social proof, right? The slider is kind of scrolling through It's scrolling through different testimonials, different endorsements that people have made about the book already. So you're getting that social proof, and I'd be willing to bet that looking at the book, with the social proof there is definitely something that's going to help kind of build that credibility and help drive some of the pre-orders. So if you're getting to the website, that's what you're going to see. Boom, I'm already kind of interested because, you know, I see some really important people are already saying some really great things about this, right? So that social proof is definitely huge. Scroll down from there a little bit to right on the home page. Again, just a short blurb here on the home page, but, you know, photo of Amber, who she is, right? And a short bio right here on the home page too. So, you know, obviously not even a full bio and stuff too, but, you know, even in that short bio piece, you see who she is. She was shortlisted, you know, for Whistler Book Award. You know, so some of that credentials, you know, showing some of the credibility in addition to the testimonials that are up there and stuff too. So, so you can see she's a very capable writer, and man, this must be good. Important people saying good things, and she's on a short list for winning. You know, winning an award about the book and stuff too. But also tell you a little bit about where she's at and who she is, personal kind of connection there and stuff too. But again, not a lot. I mean, you're looking at really with 3 sentences here makes up the entire bio on the homepage. So book with social proof, author photo, and 3-sentence bio. You know, statement, don't believe what you remember, and then you know, contact, right? You know, contact, send me a message, get in touch with me right on the homepage. Boom, right? Connect and send this author an email. So very simple design, right? It's about the book, it's about the author, and get on email. I also love this too, right? Is this secret club, right? You know, a few other pages, we could look through those, but you know, pretty basic pages and stuff so far too. But the secret club, and I think that's intriguing, right? You know, do you want to know my secrets? Join my secret club, right? So you know, it's a basically get on my email list, right? And you know, I think the thing I love about this whole secret club kind of feel and stuff too, is that it feels exclusive, right? It feels like, hey, I'm going to get some inside information from this best-selling author that nobody else is getting. You know, so I think it's pretty cool because she used that and built it in a way that helps build that kind of exclusivity kind of feeling. And I got another one I'm going to look at here in a second too that does something similar, but it's a connect and get my secrets kind of thing too. So I think that's really brilliant on her part and the part of her web designer there to be able to position and phrase it that way. Okay. All right. So a few more to hit here and moving pretty quickly. Some of the things are going to continue to get a little bit redundant as we see some similarities here. This one, Penelope Ward, she's a author, co-author. She's co-authored several books with another one who was also in that kind of top 10 list, Vi Keeland. You know, they've co-authored several novels together and stuff, right? But one of the things, looking at this website, and I chose just to use one of the 2 of them since they're kind of very similar in what they're doing. But on Penelope's website too, you know, one of the things you see here too, again, another very simple design. This is the home page. You know, menu up top, this section, and then boom, stay in the loop, right? That's the whole home page right there. Okay. So again, another very simple design. I think a lot of times too, you know, a lot of us will try to overcomplicate that home page, right, and build too much on it. I personally do like to see a little bit more on a homepage than what we have here too. I think it's going to be good for SEO to do that, to help kind of build a little more kind of keyword value and stuff too. But I also love the simplicity, right? It's not overcomplicated. You get to this homepage, you see the author, you see the book, and you see email subscription. Get on my list, right? So I love that simple design. And one thing I want to point out too is I noticed in the social icons here too, there's Penelope's Facebook, and you know, it's connected to her author page. And this one here too, and I'm not going to actually click over on these, but you see 2 Facebook icons, and you see the private Facebook fan group, right? So you know, it's a group called Penelope's Peeps, right? You know, so again, building kind of that same thing that Amber was doing, that kind of secret club kind of thing, right? You can get into this as a private group just for fans. You're going to connect with Amber there, and you talk with each other there, whatever too. So it's kind of that exclusive club kind of feel. And so I love how she's putting that within her social connection area there too, using groups on Facebook as a way to connect with your followers and build that kind of extra personal connection there too. A lot of people drive content to a page. We all know these days that pages on Facebook are not getting quite the same reach that they used to. Groups are a great way to build that kind of connectivity and make sure that you're getting noticed with the people you want to try to get noticed with, right? One of the other things I noticed on Penelope's site too is, there's the about page, so you can learn more about her, the books, get the books, contact page and stuff too. But this one right here, signed, okay? And it's not a very super complicated page, really essentially a sales page form, to get a signed copy. And this is why I love this, right? Because I think, with the signed copies that she's doing, she's offering something that you won't get on Amazon. Okay. And so here's the thing, right? When you're selling books on Amazon, you might be able to use like an affiliate link to drive people to Amazon. And so you get a small percentage there too. If it's a traditionally published book too, your publisher, your agent, all these people are going to get a cut too. So when you drive people to Amazon to go buy the book, you're probably getting a very small percentage of that sale, right? Even if it's a self-published book, right? You're getting a certain percentage. The percentage may be a little bit bigger, but a small percentage of the sale stuff, right? So by doing this, she's not just selling books, but she's selling signed books. So she's driving them to a sales channel that she controls, right? And then offering the extra bonus, right? So this is not something that you're going to be able to buy just on Amazon. This is something you buy only here. So she may have a greater profit margin when she does this. And then drive some of that control stuff too. So certainly she's still going to sell books on Amazon. She's still going to sell books in bookstores and stuff like that too as well too. But if you're getting to her website and want to connect with her, spend a little extra money, probably a little bit higher profit margin for her, right? So win-win kind of for everybody and stuff too. So I think that's really pretty cool use of building something special on your website, driving to a channel that helps you win a little bit bigger. Okay. All right. Just a couple more here, and the next one is Stephen King. Okay, the guy's been around forever, writing all kinds of kind of suspense, kind of horror, novels and stories and stuff like that for a long time, right? But really brilliant author, great writer. Has got a great book too about writing. But I love, if you go over to Twitter and you look at his bio on Twitter, it just says author, right? And that's who he is. He's an author, right? He writes books, and that's it. A couple of things I want to point out about his website. This is another one of those websites, kind of like James Patterson, that the focus of everything is on the books, right? It's almost kind of like walking to the library and stuff too. In fact, he's got a menu item, the library, right? But you look down a lot of the homepage. There's information about new releases. The news is really about what's going on with the books. The coming soon section, not seeing anything right there right now too, but really everything is really driving towards the books, right? So the sliders, the blog news, the menu, everything about the books, the author of the news, the future works, right? FAQs, multimedia about the books, even Dark Tower, book in the menu and stuff, right? One of the things a couple things I think are really interesting here too about Stephen King's website that I think are pretty cool is the message board, right? And what he's got there is basically it points out to a forum that is built and managed by him and stuff like that too. But it's the official StephenKing.com message board. It's a forum. It's a place where fans can connect, right? And this is similar to what we just saw with Penelope, using a Facebook group, right, to provide an opportunity for fans to get together and talk. I didn't dig deep enough to really see if he engaged there and stuff too, but it's an opportunity really to kind of for open forum for fans to connect and conversation to happen about the books and the things that are going on and stuff too. I could tell you as a writer too, having a place like that where I can see people sharing thoughts, and in Stephen King's case, maybe there's theories about characters and all kinds of, whatever going on stuff too. That kind of stuff can actually fuel future writing, right? To see what they're talking about, but it can give you a great deal of opportunity for research and stuff to be able to connect. So whether you're using a forum message board kind of format or a tool like a private Facebook group or something like that too, really cool way to kind of connect, give readers an opportunity to kind of connect with you and with each other and build community. The other thing is the miscellaneous. I'm going to click on this one real quick. The miscellaneous is for him. It's a section of links. You see links and things that are important to him. Radio, places to go, bookstores he likes and stuff too. I love this. Online bookseller with a wide variety of authors and genres, including many unique items not available elsewhere, right? So he's sharing some of the things that he thinks are important and stuff too. But the links to publisher, for his books, artists and musicians, fan sites, so definitely it's a kind of a cool way. If there are some links of things that are important to you that you might want to connect your readers with, having a miscellaneous links kind of page and stuff like that too, a cool way to do that. Okay. Two left here. Next one is George R.R. Martin, and you may know this guy if you're familiar with the Game of Thrones series from HBO and stuff. He's the creator of that and several other books, some sci-fi channel type stuff and everything. So pretty popular writer, and his stuff has kind of made it to big screen pop culture and stuff like that as well too. One of the things we see here too with this is there's a very similar focus on the books on the homepage, right? You see it that's what the slider is all about. Current news is all about that. Sections here too about the books in the series, next appearance and stuff to do is next publication. A really big focus on the books themselves, right? Also in this case though too, just because of the genre that he writes in, a lot of focus on the artwork too. So ways you can check out some of the artwork kind of associated with the books and the stories and stuff that he tells. That kind of artwork goes really well with that genre. To people be able to see the imagery kind of associated with this. I love this that image and stuff too. He also uses video on the homepage too, right? So pulling from YouTube teaser videos, trailers, and things like that too, because so much of his stuff is made it onto big screen, small screen, whatever and stuff, pop culture and stuff too, using video on the homepage to kind of highlight some of what's happening. Video is going to be so huge these days. Anytime you find an opportunity that you can use video on your website, even on the homepage stuff, great thing to do. Also love this too, that you see this up in the header menu as well too, but his blog is kind of a sub-note down here too, but he calls it not a blog, right? That's where he blogs, and I love the kind of quirkiness there, that it's his blog, but he calls it not a blog because essentially, he's feeling like, hey, I'm not blogging, right? But I'm sharing some stories and updates and things like that. So I love the quirky twist. I love leveraging the, this is what it is, but it's not what you think it is, but it is that too at the same time. So it kind of gives you a little flavor of his personality and who he is. I also like this too in the about section. some sections there too for a few different things too. But the what I'm reading, the what I'm watching, I love the what I'm reading too. For a lot of us writers, if you have things that are on your reading list, a great way to kind of connect your friends and followers and stuff like that too with things that you're reading. Also, especially if you're very clear about it too, you might be able to kind of monetize that stuff. Use affiliate links to point to Amazon and stuff, to maybe earn a little bit off of encouraging people to read some of the things that you're reading. And then for fans, again, this is another way to, just like we see with folks like Stephen King and Penelope and stuff, right? That really making sure that there's opportunity for fans to be able to connect with each other and stuff too, related to your material and stuff. Definitely things like art links, book links, fan site directory. And most of us may not have fan sites out there, but as there are, the things where you can kind of find stuff, art gallery from fans, stuff like that too. Really fantastic way for fans to be able to kind of connect with each other and feel part of a community of what's going on with his writing and what he's doing. Okay. And then one more to hit here, and this is Rachel Hollis, right? Rachel, I think probably a fan favorite. Some of the circles here too that they're usually around these webinars. But Rachel is she's named by Inc. magazine as one of the top 30 entrepreneurs under 30, so pretty exclusive kind of club. And she's really passionate about empowering women in business, right? So she's written several books. I know one of the books is on my wife's nightstand right now. I think it was "Girl, Wash Your Face" or something like that too. And just loves her, right? Really great stuff. Again, some of the things we're going to see here too are some things that we see consistent throughout a few other people's sites. The slider up top where it's pointing to the most important things that she wants to try to drive people to. Learn about this journal that she's encouraging, right? The podcast. Looks like podcast about her and her husband, right? Her podcast. Pointing to book, The Girl Wash Your Face. That's the one on my wife's nightstand right now. So that slider up top, used to definitely drive people to the things that are really most important for her. I also love too the smart menus up top, right? Again, pointing to different categories, right? These are categories for the blog post, and that's how she's really driving the navigation, right? Is use the topics that you're writing about as your navigation. So I think that's really great. Something I encourage really a lot of writers to do. Great stuff for SEO, but also great for the users to be able to get to the type of content that you want to write about. I get asked quite often, hey, what if I write about multiple different things too? You see Rachel's writing about style, work, family, travel, recipes, videos would be something different there, but those are the things she's writing about and stuff too. So she's writing about several different things, but she uses those blog categories as her navigation for the site. And also subscribe to right up in that, in the header menu bar. I love how it's kind of separated out from a design perspective and stuff too, but subscribe right up in the header menu, just as important as the navigation to the different topics and areas. As we scroll down the homepage, we get below that slider up top and stuff too. Cool styling for the blog layout. Two blog posts here side by side. Review the blog post. Scroll down to wait, what is that? Oh, this is more blog posts, but just in a different format, right? And then switching to look at this, and I'll kind of hit more on the blog post in a second too, as well too. But ooh, boom, look, pre-order the new book, right? So that's not a blog post. I'll talk about that in a second. But then when we get back, more blog post again, slightly different format and layout than we've seen before. So really, let me talk about what's happening here, right? Because this is pretty slick, right? So essentially, the home page is a blog feed. Okay, you got the slider up top pointing to some different things too, but really everything else on this home page is a blog feed. But it's not the basic standard kind of blog feed that you see everywhere else. You've got big featured for the most recent stuff here up top, only 2 side by side. Change up the layout, right, for how you show those and display the recent blog post. Boom. And then this is what we call, because this is not a blog post, this is what we call pattern interrupt, right? So you're looking at blog post, blog post, blog post, boom, pattern interrupt. I change it up on you, pre-order the new book, and then let me get back to that flow again. Blog post, blog post, blog post. Again, different format, similar to what was up top with the feature, but instead of 2 side by side, go 3 side by side, down to the bottom of the page, and then continue with older posts. So the variation in styles, I think, really creates a very interesting design perspective when you're looking at the blog post there too, and really smart use of the pattern interrupt in the middle to change things up. You're not just looking at the blog feed, but hey, I'm driving people to something else to support my new book coming up. Go pre-order it now. So it's a really cool design layout stuff too for Rachel's beautiful looking site. And I think that that kind of variation, pattern interrupt, kind of flow and stuff like that too, has a lot to do with what she's done there, what she's got going on. So, all right. So with that, that brings us to the end of this this webinar today. So there are a lot of really cool tips and stuff too. If you come back to the webinar page here, or if you're watching the replay now or something like that too, I've got my notes for this too, and all the things that I pointed out for all the different websites with links to their websites and stuff too, just on a Google Doc. I will share that Google Doc, so there'll be a little button below the video replay here shortly too, that so you can kind of grab those notes and check that out, so you have that information for later on if you want to play around with that and try that stuff out. I'll say this too, if you're wanting to try to figure out how you might be able to apply some of this stuff to your own website as a writer and develop your platform a little bit better too, I'm happy to schedule a quick 15, 30-minute consult or something like that with you too, to just kind of talk through what you got going on. Free, no cost, and no big sales pitch or anything like that either. I'm happy to just kind of talk and brainstorm with you. You can take that information, go off and try to do stuff on your own. If we can help you with web design, we're happy to do that too as well. But yeah, just love to offer that for anybody watching this. Maybe we can take some of these best practices and see if there are things that we can implement on your website, your platform, and your strategy to help you reach and connect with more of your readers, whether you're been publishing books for a long time or just getting started or haven't even done it yet but want to some point. Any of those different phases, there's certainly some things here we can apply to help you kind of grow your writer's platform. So with that, just want to say thanks for watching. A big fist bump for you all out there. Have a fantastic day. Boom.